Honeybear Dave here. This wildfire, an August wildfire, I taught a class on pattern phasing, which is a framework that we use to describe moves where the hands are doing the same thing, but the timing and direction changes throughout the move. So we start just by reviewing our basic timing and directions. We have same time, same direction, same split, same opposite, and split opposite, and we noted different moments in those. So for example, when we look at same time opposite direction, they're both down at the bottom, they're both up at the top, and they're traveling opposite directions, or they're both apart on sides. With split, we noticed how they both come together on the right and they come together on the left, but they're split at the top and the bottom. And so we can use that to, at any moment in a pattern, tell where we are on the move. So we started then by talking about caps, and we went through the basic 4 C caps in wheel plane, and we argued over the timing and direction of them, and we couldn't agree what they were. And the issue was, when we go through a move like this, yes, my hands are moving through same time, same direction, and my poire the whole time. And when we do something like this, it is split opposite the whole time. But when we get to patterns that are a little more complicated, where extension and anti-spin happen at different times, for example this one, some people want to call this split time, some want to call it same, some don't want to call it anything at all. And the issue was, and some want to call it opposite things. And the reason is, when we're at the top and the bottom, we're in split time. And we're in split time, same direction here. But when we are out, as we're doing the anti-spin pedal, my poise is pointed out. And as I do the extension, my poise is pointed out halfway down, which means that they're both traveling the same direction downwards. And they're at the same point, which means they're in same time, or something close to it. So this move is split time at the top and bottom, but same time here, so I can even transition. And this, putting these together, we need a new name for that, right? We had the same issue with this cap in opposites, where the hands stay together, and they're in split time or they're in same time opposite direction at the bottom and the top, but they're in split time in the middle, which again provides a nice transition, but makes naming it difficult. So pattern phasing is the idea of breaking up a move into pieces, and then finding different ways to move through those pieces and describe it. So my cap, I break into 4 pieces. I go, here's point 1 at the bottom, point 2 is while I'm doing the anti-spin, point 3 is at the top, and point 4 is on the extension on the way back down. So 2 and 4 look very similar. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so then I go, how can I move through those? I can move through them where my hands, just like we break up a circle. We have a full circle, and we can move my hands through points 1, 2, 3, and 4 together, right? Or I can move them maybe at 1 and 3, 2 and 4, 3 and 1, 4 and 2. And this is split time. Or we could say that the right hand is 2 of those points ahead of the left hand. So in this pattern, we did the same thing. We said, my right hand is going to be at the top at 3, when my left hand's at 1. Then they're going to be at 2 and 4 together. Then they're going to be at 1 and 3, and 4 and 2. So that one we could say is 2 ahead in the same direction through the pattern. This is also useful for getting started with the move. I say my hands are going to do the C cap, so I can go 1, 2, and then start the pattern. And that'll help me get into it. If we do 1 ahead in this one, it would give us something that's quarter time. If we do 3 ahead, it also did. We can do the same thing for opposites. If we think about moving around a circle again, the hands can meet at 1 and 1, separate, 3 and 3, separate, 1 and 1 again, or they can move at 2 and 2, or 4 and 4, 1 and 3, 2 and 2, 3 and 1, 4 and 4, 1 and 3, 2 and 2, 3 and 1. So for this one, we can say, well, they're going to meet at 1 and 3. So they meet here. Then they're here, which is 2 and 4. Then they're at which is because one was anti-spinning and one was extending. Then they're at 3 together, and then they're at 2 and 4 again. So this would be the opposites, one, moving through the pattern with phasing that's opposite, meeting at 1 and 3. And this one would have been meeting at 2 and 4. We can also meet between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, or 2 and 3 and 1 and 4. Is that what I said? Something like that, which is quarter time, which is like the quarter time variations, but that's definitely more advanced. So this is useful to help find transitions, to help describe moves. So for any move, any description we give, there's a unique move to it. Now, any move doesn't necessarily have a unique description, but if I give you the system that I'm using, and then that description, you'll always be able to figure out what the move is. We can also play with the idea of taking the shapes and rotating or reflecting them. So we played with our cap. I could rotate it so that 1 on my right hand is here, 2, 3, 4. So 0 ahead phasing would look like, the same direction would look like this. 2 ahead phasing would look like this. Moving in opposites will look like, if they meet at 1 and 3, will look like this. And if they meet at 2 and 4, will look like this. So we can describe all these patterns. We can also rotate something like 90 degrees and play with things like these guys, or even something like this. And because we have these points, we know we can stop at them and break down what the timing is at each one and find our transitions. The other really nice thing about this was it didn't just apply for caps. We talked about how it can apply with plane breaking. So I can describe a pattern like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. Rotate it 90 degrees with my right hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, and go same phasing, or 1 ahead phasing, or 2 ahead phasing, so 1, 2. Or I could go through opposites with it, like opposites meeting at 1 and 3, and opposites meeting at 2 and 4. And we played with how we can rotate all these different directions, and then we played with stalls. So we took doing a down stall and this, and instead of breaking this into 2 points, we broke it into 4. We said 1, 2, 3, 4. And that allowed us to go same phasing, 2 ahead phasing, which is actually going to be the same as opposites, meeting at 2 and 4. And we did 1 ahead phasing, which was... we also played with how you could reflect it. So this would be reflected meeting at in same, or reflected meeting in 2 ahead. So we found all these different ways to use it, and remember, it doesn't always have to be broken up into 4. Sometimes something will want to break into 5, or 6, or 7, and it's you can find that instinct about what's the right number to use. So another example was this cap, which was 6 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can go together, or we can play with things like here, 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 there, there. So this would be 2 ahead. So I hope it was useful. I hope you can use it for your transitions in the future, for finding new moves. If you like combinatorics, you can play with lots of combinatorics with it. If you don't, you can use this method to still communicate, still find and learn new moves. It's always for the hands doing the same patterns, and remember that the points between the time it takes to go between the points, you need to be able to do those in the same amount of time. You might have to speed up to do it a little bit or slow down. You need to be able to do it in the same amount of time. So that's all. Hope you're interested.